Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite a while. Thank you so much for your patience. Today, I would like to discuss with you some reading strategies that you can use for your own classroom. These are some things that I have learned at WGU and while preparing for the Praxis 2 series. These are things that I've learned. I have experience with some of these as well, and I just thought I would like to share these ideas with you. Before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. The first strategy that I have for you is to promote literacy whenever possible, as much as possible. The good thing about literacy, which is reading and writing, most of it, you can incorporate it into anything and into any subject at any time. So, for some examples would be to include it in your morning meeting, maybe your morning message or question of the day to kind of promote writing there. You can do some end of day reflections as well, or just throughout the day kind of reflections. ELA workshops is beneficial, whether that's reading or writing. You can also use visual labels throughout your classroom as well. And even like some helpful posters as part of your decor is a great way to get literacy into your classroom. This is an absolute must. Having a classroom library is just so beneficial. I can't even describe how important it is for your students and to promote literacy in the classroom. There's many different ways and systems to organize your books as well. So kind of pick which one works for you. Make sure the space is inviting and welcoming, maybe having a rug and maybe some places to sit, colorful posters that are both informative and encourage students to read. And you will want to go ahead and plan a system for your check-in and check-out system. Again, there's tons of different ideas with that. And you can even make this kind of like to go along with like a classroom job. Having a student help you organize the library is great to kind of build classroom community. This is something that I actually learned at WGU, and that is starting a book talk. They can really foster a love of reading for students. The purpose is to promote book suggestions for others. So after a student finishes reading a book, they can create a suggestion for others to describe what the book was about, the summary, and why they loved it. And you can kind of put it in your classroom library or display it somewhere else. I think this is a really great way to kind of promote literacy in the classroom as well and build some classroom community. Literature circles have been occurring for ages. I can even remember me being a part of a literature circle in an elementary grade. But they are really a great way to build positive appreciation for books as well. And as a group, students have the ability to kind of have some academic discourse with that language. It builds literacy skills as well. Everyone has a specific role and kind of keeps track of what they're reading together. And as a teacher, you can assign what book they are reading by ability or students' interests. So, a word wall is another great idea to build literacy and classroom community. And not only just that, but it also builds fluency, vocabulary. Um, if you come across a tricky word in maybe a book or a textbook or something, you can kind of evaluate it as a class and then add that to the word wall. So, there's just so many different possibilities to build a word wall. An alternative, though, would also be to have a sound wall for students who are learning to read, especially in those younger grades. So, I am a huge fan of centers. I just think there's so many different things you can do with them, and the possibilities are absolutely endless as to what kind of activity you can have in them. It kind of works for kind of all subjects, really, but especially for literacy. You can do word work, you can do like reading with a partner or having students read by themselves. You can have some games, hands on learning. You can incorporate other subjects. Just a lot of different possibilities with literacy centers. Anchor charts. I love these as well. They are great for discussions as a class to build on that academic language. They can really draw out learning together as a class. You can use them for any subject or topic, and when you're done, you can display it somewhere in the classroom for students to reference later. Reading logs are also very important and a great strategy to implement in your classroom. You can keep track of students reading weekly or monthly. It really just depends up to you. You can track what they're reading, how long. You can even include a goal for them or have them do it along with you. I do believe that journals are a great thing as well. I love interactive notebooks and journals for all the different subjects, but I really think that having a personal journal for students is great because whether they're answering a prompt or just doing a free write to kind of get like a brain dump, really reduces stress in the classroom. It's a great therapeutic thing for students and to get comfortable with their own writing style as well. Really just promotes literacy in the classroom. So, reading conferences is actually a quite new concept to me. I learned it at WGU and through the praxis studying. This is between a student and a teacher. So, this is a great one-on-one time between a student and the teacher, where the teacher gets to know the student's interests, how they're doing when they're reading by themselves. You can choose from a selection of books for them. You can talk about their reading goals together, which I think is so important. And you can also document their progress. You can kind of assess them in an area, whether it's reading comprehension or fluency, any of the reading strategies, and provide intervention for them. And you can provide some book recommendations for them as well. There's just so many different ideas to do a reading conference, and you can also incorporate a writing conference with that as well. My next reading strategy is to be an enthusiastic reading model. What does this mean? Read with excitement and expression. When you're reading to the class or reading to a small group of students, make sure to build that fluency and vocabulary. During silent reading, for example, bring a book that you are reading, kind of helps them to see that, oh, my teacher is reading, that encourages me to keep reading too. You can even display some of the books that you have at home that you are reading in the classroom, or pick up a book from your own classroom library and read it to yourself. I think it'll be kind of cool because students will be like, our teacher is reading a book that we would read. Oh my goodness. I think it's a great way to encourage them to read as well, to see you reading. And asking students what they're reading or what their favorite book has been so far, kind of talk positively to students about reading, really just encourages them to keep reading as well. The last reading strategy I have is to incorporate students' interests and other subjects. So, provide a space in your classroom library for students to make suggestions about books that they would like to see on shelves. You can also read books from other subjects, maybe that they haven't heard about before, kind of sparks a new interest for them. Having a class book, whether that be a chapter book or a picture book, is also a great thing to have in the classroom to promote literacy. I can remember from personal experience, I had a teacher that read a class book to us and it was from a series, but she only read the first book and she told us if we wanted to see what happens, we would have to go read the next book in the series. So that's exactly what we did. And I just think a class book really promotes classroom community as well. You can do this in the morning or the afternoon before dismissal or throughout the day, whenever you have time to read that class book together. I do have some free resources that I will link below if you are interested. These are things that I have discussed in this video just to help you get started as you begin to plan reading strategies for your classroom. The first is a kind of a collection of graphic organizers for both fiction and nonfiction texts that I think are super helpful in the classroom. The second is an acronym called CUPS, and it's really to help students kind of check their writing before they kind of submit it. I have some reading anchor charts that I'm going to be using in my classroom, and I thought these were just super cute, very informative, and really helps students to kind of reference later. The great thing about these is that they are blank and free to use at your disposal. The next thing I have is some book talk recommendation cards, again, to kind of promote literacy in the classroom. These are super cute. I plan to have these in my classroom library for students when they are done reading a book. Next is a word wall. This is just a great little template to help get you started. I think it's really great, again, to have this in your classroom to promote literacy. This is a reading conference form, super helpful for whenever you're going over your reading goals individually with students and to help them decide what they should be working on and what books they can read for the next time you meet with them. I have 3 different reading logs because the possibilities are endless for this one. This is the first one. just kind of a basic one, but I thought it was really nice. The second one is similar, but a little bit different. Really kind of fits into what you designed for reading along to be. And of course, the last one is up for grabs as well. So I have three different items for you to choose from. I just really like these. I thought these three were most significant and they kind of stood out to me more. And last but not least, I have some literature circle supplies for you to help get you started. There's some cards to kind of signify certain roles your students can have when being in a literature circle group and literature circle talk moves. So sometimes students in groups may have trouble understanding what they're supposed to say or what kind of questions they should be asking. And this little graphic is a great reminder for students. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching and being a part. If you have any questions or comments, just please leave them down below. See everyone again soon. Bye, guys.